Anatoliy Eduardovich, am I correct in understanding that with your invention you intend to revert humanity back by millions of years?
Absolutely not. I want to revive the fertility of the soil that existed millions of years ago. The earth was absolutely clean, unpolluted by anything, and so that today healthy food is grown, so that people are healthy too.
Anatoliy Yunitskiy, a Belarusian engineer-inventor. His professional portfolio includes over 300 scientific publications, 20 monographs, and more than 200 patents in construction, engineering, agriculture, electronics, and the chemical industry. Anatoliy Eduardovich, how did the idea to create a fertility elixir even come about?
It came about a long time ago, about 50 years back, when I found a solution to take the industry into space without a rocket. And I began to understand that if the industry is in space, we need to live and work there. And the conditions there must be no worse than on Earth. There must always be soil. There must be gardens where healthy food grows, where space workers will eat this. I started developing this, and here I am with today's technology. We are made up of cells. We have close to 30 trillion cells, even a little more.
I have a bit more.
The entire periodic table works within them. About 86 chemical elements are involved in the functioning of the cell, and they must all come from food. What fertilizers are being used on soil now? Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium.
Potassium, yes.
Where is iodine? Where is molybdenum? Where is selenium? I thought, well, the ancient tree, which grew 100 million years ago, would have been enormous in size. Yes, but the size isn't the point. They harness the energy of the sun and minerals from the soil. So why not harness the sun's energy, burn coal, and extract minerals from there? The entire periodic table. That's why we started using coal, specifically brown coal, as a raw material.
Brown coal?
It is the most suitable, but it's not so easy to do. Then I became interested in the role of earthworms and realized that they are the engineers of the soil. It's the stomach of the soil. Without them, soils cannot be fertile. A hectare of fertile soil should contain at least 1 million earthworms. They propagate beneficial microorganisms, but they don't eat coal.
How do you get them to eat it?
With kind words and a specific feeding regime. And we found a coal destructor. These are also microorganisms, simple fungi. We integrated them into the worm, and it started eating coal.
As far as I know, you use the Californian worm.
Yes, but it's not Californian anymore. It's changed color.
Why not a Belarusian one? How is it different? How is it better?
He was prolific, and he puts on weight quickly, being omnivorous and so on. But we also trained it to eat coal, and it changed, and we created a new type of worm. We named it Alubricus iterus.
Are these grown here in Belarus?
Yes, so now it eats brown coal with pleasure. We add beekeeping products and even rare substances like elicitor from mushrooms.
The production of biohumus resembles a layered cake. The upper layer contains manure and food waste. In the middle layer are the Californian worm and soil. And the lower layer is worm waste, biohumus. Yunitskiy suggested adding brown coal to the worm's diet. Anatoliy Yunitskiy spent 50 years developing this. In his youth, he dreamed of space and imagined when humanity could live beyond the planet. All his scientific plans are somehow connected to this fantastic idea. One of the first is the elixir of fertility.
There are many of them. Beneficial microorganisms, coal, minerals from ancient trees, the worm that eats coal. Well, and a whole range of innovations that are included in the technology for obtaining uTerra.
The elixir will allow living in space without needing food deliveries to orbit. All waste on the station will be converted into fertile soil. That's how you began with a small handful of worms.
Yes, you could say with this amount. Then we started giving them good food, including getting them used to the brown corner.
There are about 4 million inhabitants in these containers. The Californian worm has come to love Belarusian soil and today works for the people.
We didn't even invent it ourselves, we borrowed it from nature. That is, we simply replicated what happens in the natural process of organic recycling, only slightly improved it and added components so that our product turned out as high quality as possible.
Brown coal is on the menu for the Californian worm. It is served in powder form. All the nutrients that were part of the diet of plants and trees millions of years ago, once passing through the stomach of this worm, will return to the soil and become nourishment for new growth. Anatoly Eduardovich, did you play the game edible, inedible in childhood?
That was a long time ago.
In our program, it's called Truth or Lie. The essence is this. I ask a question, throw you the ball, you answer me true or not, and return the ball back. Shall we play? Let's do it. Is it true that the elixir has no expiration date?
Yes, no, because the main thing is the minerals, the entire periodic table, they have no expiration date, and the bacteria that live there are beneficial. They can go into a state of suspended animation and live for millions of years.
Therefore, there is no expiration date. Is it true that with the help of this elixir, even on lunar soil, you can grow a garden city?
No problem if you bring the soil here, but on the moon there's a vacuum, you won't grow anything there. And on Earth, on lunar soil, yes, it's possible.
Is it true that such an elixir can be made at home?
Not true. There are many know-hows, and it's impossible to do this at home. It's impossible to do this at home.
And can you personally make it at home?
Make it at home? Well, yes.
I know the know-how. Anatoly Eduardovich, and it turns out there is no brown coal in Belarus. Won't it be too expensive for production if this is launched on a large scale?
Where will we get so much coal? It's not just brown coal here, it's also Icelandic fuel, which can be used. You can use peat and so on. For example, there are tens of trillions of tons on the planet. If we burn them and turn the waste into humus, we will get electrical energy and heat. These reserves will last for 10,000 years for the entire planet, and all energy issues will be resolved. And as for humus, as a byproduct, it will be produced in such quantities that it could turn 100 planets like Earth into fertile black soil. This will be waste. It is free.
What did the first experiments show when you used this product here on the tank proving ground?
Well, I expected the result, but many didn't believe. They say, what's the nonsense? You need to apply fertilizer. What worm? Well, when such tomatoes grew, such bulbs, right?
You yourself probably didn't expect it, did you?
Or did you expect it? No, I expected it, but others didn't, right? And when you take an apple and realize that it's a real apple, it smells like an apple, with such a rich taste of everything. Because the taste is not given by carbon, not nitrogen, not phosphorus, but these trace elements, they give the taste. When testing was done, and for example, the same radish was given to chefs to taste, they realized that one radish replaces 10 other radishes.
This preparation, let's say, is enough for the housewife to apply to the soil once, and it's sufficient, or does it need to be reapplied? Let's say the same biohumus.
If I feed you deliciously now, will this food last you for a year?
No, of course not. You constantly need nutrition, yes.
You received it several times, right? So that's nutrition. The body ate the plant, and then it's gone. You have to enter it again. That's why mineral fertilizers are also applied every year, and more than once. 100 years ago, you could eat an apple and get the necessary set of micro and ultra-micro elements. Now you need to eat a bucket of apples to get the same.
You need to eat a bucket of apples.
To get the same. That same bucket. When they tell me, oh, how many calories? Oh, it's not the calories you need to look at. This is the building material for cells, for the body. But did you get the entire set of minerals? This is exactly what you need to look at.
So are we essentially draining the last juices from the earth now?
We've already extracted.
Already extracted?
200 years ago, we planted potatoes. And then a year later, we planted potatoes again. And then a year later, we planted potatoes again. And then we planted again. It doesn't matter if it's oats or something else. And every year she carries out extracts from it. Yes, this way we can restore something, for example, by adding nitrogen fertilizer or phosphorus, potassium. We are already extracting the entire Mendeleev's table, and therefore everything is getting poorer and poorer. The soil is practically dead now. We can revive it through energy, eco-friendly energy, to return thermal power plants. Fuel reserves for thousands of years for all humanity. And minerals, they are part of the former tree, part of the ancient soil, absolutely pure, to return back to the loamy soil in the form of biohumus. Restore the soil with biohumus.
Regarding the desert sand, that is, it will be enough to apply such biohumus to the sand, and can potatoes be grown? How much time will it take?
Not just potatoes, anything can grow. Look, sand, there's also the entire table of Mendeleev. But plants cannot take them. However, microorganisms can take minerals from sand. Sand is usually what's left from an ancient sea. There were crustaceans living there, fish, bones. It all decayed and so on, and therefore there are even more minerals in sand than in our soil. But if we add ultra-microelements that are lacking there and add biocompost, the plant can quite well live.
But you have already conducted such experiments, haven't you?
Yes, we have. We were digging a lake, and I decided to take sand from a depth of 6 meters. And it's worse than desert sand, right? It's poor. And they added 1% biohumus, and now it's already fertile soil with a good harvest, with a very rich flavor.
You're working with many countries right now, and who has shown interest in this elixir?
With many. We've received significant support from UNITA, a UN structure focused on industrial development. Because in reality, what I'm talking about is industry. And now there's the issue of the planet's desertification. Millions of hectares are added to the desert every year. And now we will scale our technology to the entire world.
So they're interested already?
Yes, not only that, we signed an agreement with them. We will build factories and bring the land into order. And the first factory we built in the United Arab Emirates.
There's a desert there. It's needed.
Yes, they were amazed when they saw how it works.
What development are you currently working on, and how do you plan to surprise us in the future? Maybe an elixir of youth?
Well, an elixir of youth is unlikely, of course, although aging is genetically programmed in us, but this can be corrected, including with proper nutrition. Longevity can be extended to 120 to 150 years, so longevity definitely helps. We're cultivating a new type of worm. It's the larva of an African beetle, and trained it to eat styrofoam. They gobble it up quickly. And
does it eat plastic too?
Plastic is being processed too. There's nothing harmful in plastic. It also contains elements from the periodic table. So we need it. We just need different compounds. Well, somewhere in some polymers there is sulfur, in some there is phosphorus, and in some there are other chemical elements. So they are needed. Microorganisms will simply turn all of this into food for plants, into humus. And humus will be turned into food for humans and animals.
And proper food. Thank you, Anatoliy Eduardovich. I'd like to remind you that our guest today is Anatoliy Yunitskiy, and he, along with a group of scientists, developed a fertility elixir. And this is not science fiction.